sports radio until I caught you guys again, and I'm really happy to have found you. So I was a football vagabond in college, and when I was at College of the Redwoods in Northern California, I had two teammates, one named Harry, one named Freddie. My Harry is more like you, Freddie, and my Freddie is more like you, Harry.
Check out more from Freddie and Harry weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
It's Family Leisure's half off after Christmas sale.
Up to half off on all floor models, scratch and dent, and discontinued merchandise. Floor model spas only $29.99.
Theater seating with two-piece sets starting at only $6.99.
Family Leisure has air hockey and foosball tables in stock.
Hundreds of pool tables in stock for immediate delivery.
Above ground pools are on sale with 24-foot pools starting at only $29.99 installed.
Family Leisure's up to half off after Christmas sale.
At both huge locations, Antioch and Franklin.
Family and fun come together.
Do you ever feel like gambling is causing financial strain or hurting your relationships? The Gambling Clinic has been helping people change their gambling habits for over 2 decades. With physical clinics and remote online appointments, we're here to help you make informed decisions about your gambling. Visit us at thegamblingclinic.com so we can work together to help you win back your life. This project is funded by the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. Brought to you by the Tennessee Gambling Clinic, the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in and happy New Year 2026. Wow. It does seem strange to be saying that, but it's good to be back at our digs at the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. They got a big tournament going on, so there are a lot of people in here today, a lot of buzz going on, and boy, we have got a lot to get to. Let's quickly tell you, Kelly Holcomb will return on Monday. Fridays, he is off. But Parker Kelly,
but nonetheless, we are here, and it was a very exciting game yesterday.
No, it was not.
For me, it was.
Absolutely. That game may be the all-time worst college football playoff game ever. Dull, lifeless. What the hell was going on with Texas Tech?
I don't know, but hey, that Oregon defense, though, looked pretty good, did it not?
Yeah. For that matter, Texas Tech's defense looked good. Their offense,
They did.
Not so much. Boy, we got a lot to get into. Let's begin first with our daily Titans update. During football season, we begin each show that way. Oh, Lord. Terry McCormick sporting apparently some new Christmas gear. It appears to be a better quality of hat. What else are we sporting there?
Oh, that's it. We got our brand new Yankees hat. That was one of our. That was one of the things that was under the tree for us this year. So I thought I would show it off to you, George.
So the wife even got tired of that nasty old one.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I want to run something by you. An article in The Athletic a couple of days ago, and a long one. You probably saw it, about Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator Matt Nagy, who is considered by a lot of people to be the guy the Titans will end up hiring, or let's at least say it this way. Until you find out it's somebody besides Matt Nagy, assume it might be Matt Nagy. One of the things that came up in the story is that when Mike Borgonzi interviewed for the Titans general manager position, that Nagy helped him with the interview prep, the questions. You know, he would make up questions, throw them at Borgonzi. very interesting story, and one that, for me, put Matt Nagy in a better light as far as what might happen down the road.
Yeah, that is kind of interesting, that I guess that they have that kind of relationship, which leads you to think that Matt Nagy is going to be a serious candidate when the Titans get around to going through the interview process of who they want to be their next coach. So to me, yeah, I think, you put stock into that Matt Nagy is going to be probably, one of the 2 or 3 guys who are going to be the odds-on favorite for this position.
Are you of the opinion that the search, if you had the choice between Matt Nagy and the field, what would you take?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I think, I'd have to know who's in the field in terms of, who we think the other candidates are. I think Mike McCarthy's probably one of them, Robert Saleh, but there'll be a couple of others that will emerge out of this that certainly will get consideration too. I don't think you can completely discount people who have familiarity with the organization like Arthur Smith or Jim Schwartz. But, I think the other thing you have to look at too is who else gets let go in this hiring cycle, because one, that's going to affect, where the Titans are in the pecking order in terms of, who they can go out and get, because I don't think it's going to be the most attractive job out there. But second of all, it might offer you a candidate that you hadn't thought of it. If a Kevin Stefanski comes free, then I think you have to, seriously consider a guy like that. But right now, with what we know, I would take Matt Nagy. But as the field grows a little bit, I might take the field, just because there will probably be 4 to 5 guys that they're going to want to bring in here at least.
Okay, let me ask it this way. Does the loser of the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game end up making a coaching change?
Well, I mean, that's kind of been thrown out there. I think, one of the things that's really interesting in all that is the Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson dynamic, because you're starting to hear some rumblings and reports that maybe everything's not on the up and up between those two the way it has been, or maybe the Ravens are tiring of Lamar. I don't know why you would tire of one of the 4 or 5 best quarterbacks in the league. I think, you roll with that for as long as it works. Harbaugh, one of those things where you don't expect it with Harbaugh or Tomlin. But then again, for a long time here, George, Jeff Fisher was seemingly entrenched, was here for 17 years. But then after a while, the message starts to get stale, and maybe a change is best for all involved. So I'm not looking for it, but I certainly can't rule it out.
Okay, let me put words in your mouth here. You ready?
Sure.
If Mike Tomlin is available, is he the Titans' number 1 choice?
I think he would have to be. If Mike Tomlin becomes available, I think he would be at the top of the list for pretty much any team that had an opening. And maybe some might even fire their coach to hire him. So that's kind of where it stands. It's like, well, we weren't going to fire you, but Mike Tomlin became available, hit the road. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I think Mike Tomlin would have to be at the top of their list. The question, I think it would be more of, would Mike Tomlin want them rather than would they want Mike Tomlin?
Yeah. So kind of guide us real quickly through next week. On Monday, we'll have probably some firings, some coaching changes. Is it at that point that the Titans request to speak to certain people, or have they already done that?
Yeah, I mean, that whole process, I think you need to wait until after the season to formally, but I guarantee you there's probably been some back channeling done. They've got an idea who they want to go after, who they want to bring in. So there won't be a whole lot of surprises added to that list unless somebody gets fired, maybe that they weren't anticipating coming open. So to me, the grunt work has already been done. I think they're looking through the candidates, and then you start to get the official permission once the season's over with.
So they're in Jacksonville Sunday to blessedly close out the regular season. Is there anything of any real importance on the Titans front involved in this game?
No, I mean, you don't want to go down there and get embarrassed if you can help it. But, you're talking about a Jacksonville team that's playing for the division title in the AFC South. So it's not going to be an easy road to hoe for the Titans here down in Jacksonville, because they're going to be completely outmanned. And then when you start to look at the injury report and all the things regarding that, Amani Hooker may not play. They've already declared out Gunnar Helm, Arden Key, and several other guys. So they're going to be shorthanded, especially in the secondary, where things already look kind of bleak before this game. So it's going to be tough. You just don't want to go down there and get embarrassed if you can help it.
Terry, appreciate it as always. Happy New Year to you and your family, and we'll do it again on Monday.
All right, sounds good, George. See you.
That's Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update. Terry, of course, Main Street Media and TitanInsider.com. One note before we get to the update. Okay, you see all that sports and social stuff in Green Hills Mall. We will be at Sports and Social both Thursday night and Friday night, getting ready for the college football playoff games, and hope that a lot of you will join us.
Going to be exciting. I haven't done this in a while. I am very pumped to do this. America's favorite update, of course. The CFP quarterfinal round, we're going to recap it. So yesterday, it was an exciting day, at least the nightcap was. Ole Miss, without Lane Kiffin, beats Georgia 39-34. They went on a 21-3 run in the second half, and Ole Miss wins the Sugar Bowl and will face Miami, who beat Ohio State on New Year's Eve.
A lot of theories to share in the coming moments. In particular, one about Ohio State that I think you'll kind of go,
And on the other side of the bracket, Oregon shut out Texas Tech 23-0. Two really, really great defenses. One pretty good offense and one offense that didn't show up. 23-0. The Ducks move on to the Peach Bowl in Atlanta to have a rematch with none other than Kurt Signetti's Indiana Hoosiers.
Yeah.
And we are going to touch on all of that coming up.
Google me. I win.
The transfer portal has opened up today, George. I don't know if you happen to hear about the 4,000 players. That's the number that I heard, at least on the Pat McAfee show, that have entered the portal today.
It's embarrassing.
Sam Leavitt, quarterback at Arizona State, or former quarterback at Arizona State, has officially entered the portal with a no-contact clause, and Kentucky and Will Stein are in the mix for him.
Ooh, nice.
Brennan Sorsby, quarterback at Cincinnati, has scheduled a visit to Lubbock, Texas, which he is actually visiting today. Next up, he'll visit Baton Rouge. LSU and Texas Tech seem like the two front runners for his services. I saw a number today of the amount of money that he would be asking for, and it's between the $6 and $7 million range.
And let's say this. When we watched him play this year, nice, but
the intangibles are clearly there. But I
mean, are we acting like he's the second coming?
No. I would not be willing to pay that for 1 year.
Wow.
There was a article today on ESPN, and they were talking about this on Get Up, First Take, all of the talking shows, that the assistant coaches at Ole Miss, I believe there's 6 of them, that are going to go with Lane Kiffin to LSU, who coached last night in the Sugar Bowl. 6 of them may not finish the season because, the transfer portal opened up today. LSU is going to host a lot of these recruits. Charlie Weiss, however, did double down and say that he's going to finish the run with the Rebels.
So, first of all, Watson Brown will join us today at 4:00. We're going to get knee deep into this with him. we'll probably open the phone lines about 4:25 because I think a lot of you have got things on your mind. Here's one thought very quickly. Okay, Lane Kiffin has tried to suck up to Ole Miss a little bit with the "you can have my coaches" for this upcoming game, but oh, by the way, I don't think you can win, and so this won't ever come into play, and by January the 2nd, they'll all be coming down to Baton Rouge. Well, here's a bulletin. In spite of His Highness's brilliance not being in New Orleans, Ole Miss beat Georgia. Ole Miss is in the Final Four. This is supposedly the reason Lane Kiffin left Ole Miss, was he didn't think they could do these kind of things. And the players said, basically, Lane, kiss our butt.
Mm-hmm. They did. He was supposed to be there last night, and he ended up going to the LSU women's basketball game with Kim Mulkey. So,
which is probably a good idea because the Ole Miss people don't want
to see him there
around at all.
Yeah.
The word is radioactive.
Amen. You were at the Music City Bowl, as was I. Joey Aguilar, it turns out that he was playing with a tumor in his arm that was attached to his bicep. And I guess it's an 8-week recovery time, but he was playing with that throughout the year. Nobody had an idea.
Defense, awful.
Terrible.
Disinterested, felt like it.
Totally.
It appeared that there was a Vandy hangover to Tennessee, and defensively, they're not worth a crap. They didn't come anywhere close to stopping Illinois.
Well, George, I was sitting with a bunch of Illinois fans, and they were ecstatic to be there. The Illinois stormed the field after the game was over. Tennessee, it looked like, well, we've been here before. Illinois, it was like they were playing in the national championship game.
Well, it was two programs sort of in an ascending, descending kind of deal. I mean, let's face it. The loss to Vandy put Tennessee's program in sort of a funk, kind of a 30-day lethargy.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is now it has opened up sort of okay, where exactly is Josh Heupel's program? What is its future? And is he part of that future long term?
Jim Knowles is starting to put together the defensive staff, and also the strength coach, Kurt Schmidt, was fired. So that's the recent developments with Tennessee. And one more bit of news, Troy Aikman, former Cowboys quarterback Hall of Famer, Monday Night Football analyst, is going to serve in an advisory role for the Miami Dolphins as they go about their general manager search.
Okay, and this note to Vanderbilt's punter. When you're going to kick, stay behind the line of scrimmage. Because I got to admit, I have never, in 60 years of watching football, I've never seen that.
Well, these rugby punts have become more popular, and I still haven't even seen it over the last 4 to 5 years. But it ran about 20 yards. I don't know. I've never seen anything like it either.
That was a crazy play. Okay.
It was.
When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about what went on yesterday in the college football playoff, a few thoughts about Ohio State, and plenty more on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demonbreun, then names like Yossi, Shea, Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
Hey, this is George Plaster. As all of you know, the college football playoff continues, and it's going to be hot and heavy. Thursday, it's the Ole Miss Rebels and the University of Miami. Friday, it's Indiana and Oregon. And guess what? We'll be at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall for both of those games, inviting you to join us for all the college football playoff fun.
Here's David Levy of Levy's Men's and Women's Wear in Green Hills.
Hey, George. As a 170-year-old clothier, we are loaded for the holiday season with great gift items for you or your significant other. Plus, we have front door parking, experienced associates to answer your questions, free gift wrap, and we are surprisingly affordable, even for you. This holiday season, treat yourself to a touch of luxury without any of the fuss. Levy's Green Hills, 3900 Hillsborough Pike, across from Virtus and behind Donut Den.
Here's Officer Garen Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
The Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, we are back on this Friday afternoon. Man, it is hard to believe that we're into 2026, but such is the case. So here goes. A few little theories. Think about it. We've had two of the three pre-college football playoff behemoths knocked out of this thing. Ohio State's gone. Georgia's gone. Now, I believe Miami has replaced Georgia, if you will, as one of the behemoths. And, of course, Indiana is still there. And so we're down to 4. Let's start with Ohio State. This is an ugly theory of mine. You may or may not appreciate it. You may or may not agree with it. Here goes. What is Ryan Day? Ryan Day is, in a basketball vernacular, John Calipari. Let me explain where I'm going with that.
Please do, because I'm interested in this.
Over the years, John Calipari has been a coach that if he's got better talent than you, he's going to win. There's always trouble if the other team's talent is just as good, if not better, because I've never said to myself, man, that John Calipari as a bench coach is brilliant. Same thing with Ryan Day. If you look around at Ohio State, who are the teams that have given them trouble? Because what Ohio State is a program that a year ago, in fairness to Ryan Day and the Buckeyes, they won a national title because they out-talented everybody. But when they can't out-talent you, when they can't physically beat you up at the line of scrimmage, you can forget it. Michigan, for a couple of years, went toe-to-toe with Ohio State at the line of scrimmage, and we know what happened. Miami, a couple of nights ago, rolled in and, first of all, looked very pissed off going into the contest in sort of a, we have every bit as much talent as you do, if not more. So early in the game, Miami sends Ohio State a clear message. We don't have to back down to you at all. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then it comes time for Ryan Day and his staff to counter. Okay, we can't just line up and physically abuse you. So now what do we do? And the answer is what it always is at Ohio State. If they can't out-talent you, they don't ever beat you. Same thing with Calipari. If he doesn't out-talent you over the years, he's not going to win. Because if you're looking for creative, imaginative strategy that will get one team over another, it doesn't ever happen at Ohio State, and it doesn't ever happen with Calipari. That's my theory.
Here's what I'll say with this.
By the way, do you agree with that theory or disagree?
I'm gonna talk myself through it.
Okay.
So you remember how I was saying the last show we did that I thought the point spread was way too big because I believe the last time I checked before they kicked off, it was 10.5. If you look at Miami's line of scrimmage, their offensive line, their defensive line, I think it was pretty fair to say before the game that Miami had the edge in both of those categories. So in terms of that talent aspect, Miami was better. Ohio State's passing game, I think, has been better than last year's and a lot better than Miami's, at least as of recent. The run game has not been as good. Bo Jackson's been solid as a freshman, but it's no Travion Henderson or Quinshawn Judkins in the backfield at the same time. So we didn't see Ohio State really trail in the fourth quarter until the Indiana game, and they lost when they did. Same thing with Miami. So in terms, I wanted to go back to the Michigan point that you made. Ohio State should not have lost the Michigan game last year because they were far more talented. I believe they just tried to play into Michigan's trap, play their style of football game, and they lost. So when you say when Ryan Day is the John Calipari gets a negative connotation. Are you saying? What are you saying about Ryan Day?
I don't think Ryan Day's worth a damn as a game day coach.
Okay.
I think if he has better talent than you, he's going to win. If his offensive and defensive lines are better than yours, he's going to win. But if it gets to a point where the team on the other end is close to equal, he's useless.
We should also note that he did take over play calling duties. And when he had play calling duties, Ohio State never reached their full potential. When he gave them up, they won a national championship.
Yeah, this was because of Brian Hartline, getting hired at University of South Florida. Anyway, it's just me. If you look, Ohio State knows they're in trouble very early in that game. But there wasn't any in-game adjustment until you get to halftime.
They couldn't count because they got bullied.
By then, it was too late.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, under Ryan Day, Ohio State will beat you if they are physically better than you at the line of scrimmage. But the closer it gets to even, that's when their coaching staff gets nothing done.
I'd say it's fair. I'm not going to knock it. I'd say it's pretty fair. Because Ohio State has never had a problem out-talenting people because they're always the top of the leaderboards in recruiting. They're always bringing in the notable transfers.
Okay, when you watched a couple of nights ago, did you think Miami had a talent deficit to Ohio State?
No, I did not, especially at the line of scrimmage. And what I learned about that game or watching that football game, yes, a lot of college football has changed, but a lot of it is still the same. And it boils down to who you have in the trenches on the line of scrimmage. Miami had the advantage both offensively and defensively, and they knocked Ohio State around and they won the football game.
Now, in fairness to Ryan Day, he seldom gets himself into this trap. because over the last few years, and this is a credit to him, Ohio State has had great talent. I think we all agree with that.
Yeah.
If not number one, number two, number three, whatever. So it's very seldom that he gets himself into a position where his coaching has to make a difference, which is good because every time it does, he doesn't.
I was listening to a guy talk about it, that there's never been a coach, at least in the playoff era, that has won a national championship calling their own plays. And when Ryan Day took over play calling in this football game, I immediately got nervous for Ohio State. and my theory kind of proved itself. So, but Miami, I mean, Ruben Bain, Akeem Mesidor, Francis Mauigoa on their offensive line, they just flat out bully people. And they're looking like the Miami team that we saw at the beginning of the season.
This is going to be some playoff.
Man.
Now, let's get to Ole Miss. So I texted a friend of mine last night early in the game, late first quarter, because I had seen a picture that made me go, Because, and this is where I may have been naive and stupid. I just assumed when that telecast began that Georgia had about 50% of the crowd and Ole Miss had 50% of the crowd. It wasn't anywhere like that.
Nope.
A friend of mine texted me back 70-30 Ole Miss. And if you'll notice later, Kirby Smart brought it up that it felt like they were playing a road game. And that's not necessarily the reason they lost. The reason they lost is two words: Trinidad Chambliss. This guy was unbelievable. And it took unbelievable because, truthfully, Gunnar Stockton was pretty doggone good in defeat. In fact, I don't know how he could have been much better.
Did you see the hits that he took?
Oh.
He just kept getting back up. You can't hate the man.
No.
Nothing but respect.
It hurt just sitting in your couch.
Yeah.
Watching some of what happened. In the end, and it's easy to say it now, when Georgia got to 1st and goal at the 6, at the very end, maybe we didn't know it for sure, but for Georgia to win, they were going to have to score a touchdown. You think about this. Tell me if you disagree with this. The person who figured out the quickest that Georgia was in deep doo-doo in the second half was Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart calls a fake punt, which, by the way, got executed beautifully.
Yep.
He then calls a 4th and 2, which I'll guarantee you he'd like to have back because it didn't work, and it gave Ole Miss a cheap touchdown that ultimately helped them to the win. But to me, some of this is Kirby Smart. To me, some of it's Kirby watching that early in the second half going, oh, crap, we are in deep trouble.
Usually the first person to know is the head coach, and then it kind of trickles down from there. But, I've been coming on here, and when I talk about Georgia, and they showed this graphic on the broadcast last night, the times that they have trailed this year, whether it be the Tennessee game, Florida, Auburn, whoever, and they've come back and won. In order to beat Georgia, you got to cut the head off of the snake. And when Ole Miss was down, I really thought, 21-12, I thought it was done. I thought it was over.
I did too.
And then Trinidad Chambliss just willed that team back into it. Some of the throws that he was making, I think he helped. If he doesn't get that extra year of eligibility, there might be a chance he could be QB3 in the NFL draft.
How in the world does a guy from Ferris State, I mean, think about that. The fact that he ended up at Ferris State, I would assume, means that nobody either thought he was good enough or knew anything about him. How in the world does that happen?
No idea. The same way, I mean, Fernando Mendoza wasn't this 5-star recruit out of high school. I mean, a lot of these guys. Indiana doesn't have a single player on their roster that was above a 3-star coming out of high school. Kurt Signetti's just one of the best. He's elite at finding that undercover talent. I don't know how Trinidad Chambliss didn't have more notoriety coming out of high school. No idea.
So has Ole Miss caught Georgia? Is Ole Miss now the complete equivalent to Georgia in the SEC, or is this that Trinidad Chambliss got them over the hump?
I wouldn't say that because they still haven't played in an SEC championship game.
So what?
Georgia has rattled off 2 in a row, 2 national championships in a row. Ole
Yeah,
Miss hasn't won.
But what I'm asking is, okay, none of us deep down, if we're being honest, thought Ole Miss was going to beat Georgia.
Nope, I didn't.
And yet in the second half, it was very obvious that Ole Miss was the better team. So long term, has Ole Miss caught up to Georgia? Is this a one night? What is this?
It's going to have, for me at least, I'll speak just for myself. I'm going to have to see a couple seasons of this, of this sustained success for me to believe it. Because after last year, after they went 9-3 last year, I thought it was their best shot. I didn't think that they were going to be able to do this year, considering what they lost in the draft, whether that be players transferring out. No one had any idea who Trinidad Chambliss was. Heck, he wasn't even supposed to be the starter. And then they do this. So I'm going to have to see this for a couple seasons at least before I say that.
Okay, and let's get to the other one. Indiana pummeling Alabama. I'm just totally like, okay, are we in some sort of a time machine? If you think back to 5 years ago, Alabama is riding high. When Alabama runs the football, they crush people. They just physically abuse people at the line of scrimmage. And the thought of Indiana playing Alabama is a total mismatch. All of a sudden, Signetti comes in, Kalen DeBoer comes in. On the Alabama front, they can't run the football a lick, which has to have Nick Saban going crazy when he watches them. And on the flip side, this guy, Google me, I win. What is the secret sauce in him that just walked in, said, Google me, I win. I'll kick Michigan's butt. I'll take Ohio State down. And this guy's lived up to every bit of it.
Because it's one thing when you talk trash and you don't back it up, and you talk trash and you do back it up. I don't know because I'm not of the belief that, stars don't matter. Sure, there are cases where you may have a 0-star recruit like Cam Ward who turns out to be, a Heisman finalist one day, but what he's been able to do with a far inferior in terms of, rankings, stars, roster, it's unbelievable. And they are manhandling the traditional powers. They've turned the sport on its head, completely upside down.
It's unbelievable. My gut feeling is that it's going to be Miami against Indiana for the title game. I hope I'm wrong. I'd love to see Ole Miss be able to take this another step. But my gut feeling is that Ole Miss had to expend, is that a word?
We can go with
a ton of emotional
it's your
energy.
Show. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah. They had to unleash a ton of emotional stuff to win this game, right?
They did, yeah.
And so now 6-7 days later, they got to get off that and be ready for a Miami team that looks like they're loaded.
It's so hard for me to say because Miami's been doing exactly what Indiana's been doing to teams, except, Indiana's been scoring a lot more, but Miami is so good in the trenches. So it's hard for me, at least early on, we're going to get into this later, I know. it's hard for me to see Ole Miss beating Miami with the way that Miami has played the last 2 games. And then same thing for Indiana. Like Oregon, they shut out Texas Tech yesterday. Defense was great, but Indiana has been doing it on both sides. So I'm with you.
Back to Alabama for a second. Do I think that this game ended up getting Kalen DeBoer fired? No. But here's what I think it did do. I think it put kind of a stink bomb over all these good wins that they had when things were going well. Winning at Auburn, beating Oklahoma in the opening round of the playoff. There were several really good wins. But 38-3, Alabama people aren't going to put up with that. Not for long.
I think the Oklahoma win in the first round of the playoff masqueraded a lot of this. The pressure is going to be on Kalen DeBoer in 26, no doubt. But George, I want to get your thoughts on this. When I was watching Alabama versus Indiana, it had the same feel as the SEC championship versus Georgia.
Yeah.
But it made me think of Week 1 versus Florida State, when that team showed zero heart.
I don't know if it was zero heart or Indiana is just this methodical machine right now that Alabama physically got abused with.
Well, I think it's fair to say that Indiana's a machine. Both can be true. Indiana's a machine and Alabama showed no heart because Alabama is a lot more talented than they showed yesterday.
Oh, I will agree with that, but doesn't Indiana have something to do with that?
Oh, 100%. 100%. But the way, Ty Simpson is, projected to be a first-round draft pick at quarterback. And, that I know that offensive line's been playing terrible, but they couldn't get in any type of rhythm yesterday.
No.
And it's just hard for me to believe a passing game that good, and with even as good as Indiana's defense is, struggled that bad.
What a playoff scenario we are headed to. Admittedly, 2 of the 3 games yesterday were complete duds. The Oregon-Texas Tech game set college football playoff history back about 20 years. There's never been a duller game ever. The Alabama-Indiana game felt like what it used to be. It felt like Alabama when they ripped into Michigan State one year in the old BCS at the Cotton Bowl. Just a bludgeoning. But the third game made up for all of it because that was an incredible football game. And even in defeat, people like Gunnar Stockton, hold your head up because you did everything humanly possible to get your team to the finish line. But Trinidad Chambliss was about that much better.
It's just storylines all over the place. And Kirby Smart has talked about how this may not be the most talented Georgia team that he's ever had, but they love each other. And more importantly, they love playing for Gunnar Stockton. Gunnar Stockton's a quiet leader when he's not on the football field, but then he flips a switch when he gets on that football field. It's hard not to respect it.
Watson Brown will join us at 4:00 to get into all of this. And by the way, I don't expect him to buy into my my Ryan Day theory.
I want to hear what he thinks on that.
My guess is he'll dodge it a little bit.
Yeah, kind of like I did.
After the break, think about this. With all of what's been going on in sports, there is a Nashville sports story that for the moment, nobody's paying any attention to. But come April, I hope it means something. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
A golf cart card from Mikey's Motors is the perfect way to get around this summer. Whether you're going to the park, the pool, or the playground, do it in a brand new golf cart from Mikey's Motors, Franklin and Murfreesboro.
Summertime fun in Tennessee. That's what we sell at Mikey's Motors. Come see how we roll.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun. Can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from... Here's David Levy of Levy's Men's and Women's Wear in Green Hills.
Hey, George, as a 170-year-old clothier, we are loaded for the holiday season with great gift items for you or your significant other. Plus, we have front door parking, experienced associates to answer your questions, free gift wrap, and we are surprisingly affordable, even for you. This holiday season, treat yourself to a touch of luxury without any of the fuss. Levy's Green Hills, 3900 Hillsborough Pike, across from Virtus and behind Donut Den. Free gift wrap. And
at Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com.
Live here on 94.9 The Fan.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact folks at Pancoast. Okay, we are back. It was about a month ago that I went on an absolute tirade about the Predators. And some of you will remember that I put some of the blame on Barry Trotz for the constant defending of his head coach, Andrew Burnett, when he came out and said, well, the staff's working very hard. And I came back with, yeah, but, you know, that's what they're paid to do, is work very hard. Give me some tangible reason why he ought to still be here. And I think I used the words at the time, god-awful roster. Now, let me say this, Parker, I would have given anything to have been wrong about all of that.
Because you're a fan. Makes sense.
Yeah. And you know what? Happily, I might be wrong. Is anybody noticing what's been going on? Yeah, they got beat in Seattle last night. They're on an absolute god-awful road trip that doesn't seem to want to end.
Yeah. And they got 2 games left.
They've got 2 left. But look at what has happened. The Nashville Predators are now within 1 point of the 8th and final playoff spot. And they have risen up the what's the word I'm looking for here? Risen up the
pulled a Lazarus, resurrected from the dead.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, there's excuse me. Got a little choke there. I'm trying to add up.
Are you tearing up because you're so happy? Is that why?
No, I'm trying to figure out, and it may not work to try to do this on the air. What is the streak that they're on right now as far as wins and losses?
In terms of wins and losses.
Because it goes back to the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Yes. So out of their last 10, they've won 7 out of their last 10. I'll do the math real quick to
but it
figure out
goes
what
a lot
is.
deeper than that.
It does. Just give me 1 second to do the math. I'll get it pulled up.
"12 of their last 18 they have won." And so the first question, and let's face it, I deal with a lot of season ticket holders because I am a season ticket holder and I go to a bunch of games. And when you ask, okay, what's different? The most obvious thing is that Steven Stamkos has gone absolutely crazy, has been a scoring machine now for about 3 weeks. Apparently, he made a decision, or somebody made it for him, that he was going to start charging the net as opposed to sitting out on that wing. And the charging of the net not only got him a 4-goal game earlier in the season, but has spawned, I don't know, it's a ridiculous number of goals in a short number of games. That's the obvious first thing. The second thing, it feels like to me that some young guys that they have infused into this are making a big difference. The Matt Woods, the Schaefers, among others. Luke Evangelista has suddenly started having a career year. And the result is that, you know what? They might be playing meaningful games come March and April. And I, for one, never saw that coming.
I mean, weren't we talking about their season maybe being over the start of December?
By the way, if you're watching the podcast form of this and you're saying, okay, wait a minute, why are they 12th? Well, 10, 11, and 12 all have the same number of points. The bottom line is the Predators are 1 point out of the 8th and final playoff spot.
Yeah, Nashville has the same number of points as Calgary, who they play tomorrow night.
Is it possible that I'm jumping the gun? Oh, yeah. It's very possible. Is it also possible that that there's really something to this?
I think there is. And you were the one that was saying we will get an idea of if this is legit or not, or if it's just some fever dream that we're all living in. But Nashville has won 3 of 5 on this road stretch, and then they have Calgary on Saturday, and then it ends Tuesday night in Edmonton for an 8 p.m. puck drop.
And see, that was at a point, part of the reason I said that was because we had gotten to a point in the season where that road trip could absolutely destroy them.
Yeah.
All the good that had come in the couple of weeks before that could be totally nullified if you go something like 1-5-1 on the road trip. Well, that hasn't happened. Did you say 3 out of 5?
3 out of 5.
Yeah.
Vegas, Utah, and Minnesota.
The Vegas win is the one that shocked me.
Shocked me too.
That's the one. That is the one I never saw coming. And yet they pretty much dominated Vegas in the second period to get that lead. So I'm pretty fired up. There is nothing better in sports than playoff hockey in person. I would love to experience that again. I make no bones about it. I get fired up like you all get fired up for college football playoff. I get fired up when they're in the playoffs. I do treat it like football. I get really wound up. And I would love for that to happen again.
Well, I think just experiencing this city in 2017 when they went on their Stanley Cup run. I mean, there wasn't much like that. It was the entire city was unified, and they really, Nashvillians in general, back their teams, especially when they're good, especially when the Titans are good, when the Predators are good. So the fact that we're talking about the Predators being 1 point out of wild card spot in the playoffs. It's unbelievable.
For a season ticket holder, here's the other thing it gets to. 41 games is a lot of games to go to. And it is easy if your team has no shot to say, you know what, I'm not going tonight. There's an NFL playoff game. Or I'm not going tonight because I saw a snow flurry. Or I'm not going tonight because of whatever. But then on the flip side, all of a sudden when you get to a point where games mean something, Parker, then it's fun.
Yeah. I'm not, the biggest hockey expert in the world, but it's just fun. Like watching the Four Nations last year, and I know we're getting the Olympics this year, but watching the Four Nations, and you see all these other all-star games, you see the Pro Bowl and what it's become in the NFL. But when you watch that Four Nations and how hard those guys played for their country, there wasn't many other things like that in all of sports. So just watching these guys, and it's not just the Predators. I mean, they're regardless of the teams, the NHL. I believe there was the Red Wings played pretty tough the other night. Just watching that, it's as a sports fan in general is awesome.
By the way, we have a final in let's see what they call this, the Armed Forces Bowl.
Yeah.
Texas State blew out Rice today, 41-10, which may beg the question, why was Rice even in a bowl game? Navy and Cincinnati.
That's the question we're all asking.
Are scoreless very early in the first quarter. Liberty Bowl in Memphis. There are two more bowl games tonight, including 5 and 7 Mississippi State playing in Charlotte against Wake Forest. And based on how the SEC is done in bowl games, they could use a little Bulldog magic, huh?
Use a little Jeff Levy.
Yeah.
Air it out with Blake Shapen.
Okay, 4 o'clock hour is going to be a good one. Watson Brown to give us more than my stupid theories, although he's going to have to listen to one of them.
No, we're going to have to get his opinion on that one.
And then we're going to open the phones right around 4:25 on the George Plaster Show. If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400.
Need from premium appliances and TVs to gaming systems and more. Whether it's building your dream home theater or updating your kitchen, we make it affordable and easy. With over 40 years in business, trust us for the best selection, service, and guaranteed low prices. Shop online or at any of our 22 locations across Tennessee and Alabama. Electronic Express, for every moment of your day.
Do you ever feel like gambling is causing financial strain or hurting your relationships? The Gambling Clinic has been helping people change their gambling habits for over 2 decades. With physical clinics and remote online appointments, we're here to help you make informed decisions about your gambling. Visit us at thegamblingclinic.com so we can work together to help you win back your life. This project is funded by the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. Brought to you by the Tennessee Gambling Clinic, the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
In 1972, a Nashville family business story began when Bill and Beverly Finley founded Volunteer Hose and Gasket. 3 generations have grown the business into the local industry leader, supplying just about anything to anybody, from the largest of contractors to your neighbor that mows his own yard. Over 1 million items in stock: belts, belting accessories, gaskets, gauges, hose fittings, hydraulics, industrial hoses, lubricants, sealing products, tubing, fire protection, and more. All at volunteerhose.net. If Volunteer Hose and Gasket doesn't have it, then you probably don't need it. Call them at 615-242-0461.
Bally's Evansville is celebrating our 30-year anniversary all month in December.
Visit for big anniversary promotions with chances to win free slot play and even $1 million.
Enjoy your favorite slot games and live tables 24/7, plus live music each Friday and Saturday night at 421 Lounge.
The month caps off with our biggest party of the year on New Year's Eve.
Visit today and join the Valley Rewards Club to get the most offers, rewards, and value. Find details at valleys.evansville.com.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Don't miss out on the OVC Men's and Women's Basketball Championships presented by United Fidelity Bank as it returns to the Ford Center in downtown Evansville from March 4th through the 7th. All session tickets are on sale now through each Ohio Valley Conference School's ticket office and at the Ford Center box office. Visit ovcsports.com/Evansville for more details and be sure to be there to OVC it in person as the first entrance into March Madness and the NCAA tournaments are crowned.
No one in Middle Tennessee should face hunger alone. With rising costs and recent disruptions to federal programs, right now, too many families, many for the first time, are struggling to put food on the table. Second Harvest Food Bank of Middle Tennessee is here to help and needs your support. Whether you're seeking assistance or want to give back through donations or volunteering, visit secondharvestmidtn.org. Every dollar, every can, and every helping hand makes a difference. Stand with us because together we can end hunger in our community.
Having Canty and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Got a text from my mom saying, consensus, Pat looks very good. We think he looks good bald. And the follow-up question was, are any of your mom's friends single? My mom has one friend who is so fun. She's so great. And she is single and her name is Coco.
How does Coco feel about the zoo?
I think she's pro-zoo. She has grandkids, so.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan. A Cromwell media station.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Time for our stat of the day, brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. Watson, I know you're listening. We'll see if George gets it. Yesterday, Fernando Mendoza threw 3 touchdowns against Alabama's blitz. The first quarterback to accomplish this feat since whom, hint, he's a Heisman winner.
Football Johnny Manziel.
No hesitation.
Put it on the board. Yes.
Oh, I love when people at Buc-ee's say that.
Johnny Manziel. What a waste. What an absolute waste.
College football legend Johnny Manziel.
Yes.
Can't say the same about his NFL career.
Okay, we are officially into the 4 o'clock hour from our digs at the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. Cannot wait to talk to Coach Watson Brown, who joins us from Cookeville. And man, have we got a lot to get to. Watson, how are you?
George, I'm fantastic. Happy New Year to all of you. Hope you have a great 26.
And the same to you and your family. So what was it like at the Watson Brown house watching Ole Miss take down Georgia?
What a great game, man. That's what you envision college football in today's world right there. It was 2 quarterbacks that just played lights out because that's what it's become. You got to play defense and you got to have a great quarterback. And there was some good defense played by both at times in the game, but the 2 quarterbacks were just absolutely outstanding. And it's amazing when you lose, you don't get talked about. Gunnar Stockton was fantastic too.
He was, and man, he took some hits, Watson, that sitting on the couch, your body just felt bad for him.
Oh, it brought back some fond, bad memories for me. I can tell you that. Some of them were in the red helmet with the G on the side when I played. So it brought back some. Oh, gracious. That one hit, he had 2, but the first one was just I mean, he came off the ground and went backwards about 5 yards. And he goes and runs a quarterback sneak for a touchdown the next play. He is one tough human being.
Watson, it felt to me like Kirby Smart figured it out really early that his team was in deep doo-doo in the second half. He goes for the fake punt on fourth down, which was beautifully executed, and then doubles down on that on a 4th and 2, one possession later that boomeranged on him. Was it him saying, I know we're in trouble?
Yes, I think it was. I think he knew that they just weren't going to stop him, that it was getting worse as the game went on. They were getting tireder and heavier legged. And the kid was playing lights out. Chambliss was just playing lights out. So, yeah, I think he knew. He's pretty good about that to me. He don't run on ego, and he sits there and says, uh-oh, we're in trouble. We're going to have to score with them. And we just can't punt it back to him because I'm not sure we can stop him. So I 100% think so. And until one of those, I just don't think he should have done, even feeling that way. But at the same time, how can you blame him? And he was right. They did not stop him.
Watson, what do you say to a college football fan who says, okay, this Trinidad Chambliss, incredible. He was at Ferris State. Is this simply he fell through the cracks? He got way better after he went to Ferris State, which I don't know where it is. I don't know if it's named after Ferris Bueller. I don't know.
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Thank you very much. How does that happen?
George, it's the pet peeve I've had forever. I've not been at one of those real high-powered Power 4 now schools, except Oklahoma, and I even went there when they had just come off of probation and had gotten in trouble NC2A wise. So I felt like when I went to Oklahoma, Mississippi State players were better than Oklahoma's when I got there. So I just think what happens is we all as coaches get way hung up in height, weight, foot speed. And the first one that I said, got him. He's not very tall. And so you go past him in recruiting. He wouldn't have been in the services because of that. There's another one sitting in Nashville that was the same thing. I think that's why he was overlooked, height. And so till we all get past that and take a chance, some of the best players I've ever had, Whit Taylor, one of the best I've ever had, if not the best, was 5'10" to 5'11". There's guys like that out there that are just flat winners, and they've got the feet to make up for their height, and so they can slide in the pocket and throw. They find throwing lanes, and they can get outside and outrun everybody and get themselves clear again to make another throw or run for a first down. I mean, it's unbelievable. That's why I like Mendoza so much. Is he's 6'5", but he's got feet, and he wants to run it, and you don't see him slide. He does not slide. He's going forward with the ball, and I can't tell you how many plays he made with his feet in the game against Alabama. So I just think that it's height, weight, foot speed, and when the first one comes up at height, everybody goes right past him.
Watson, you and I know what it meant for Ole Miss to be able to do this last night. I mean, it's like tearing down a Berlin Wall athletically. And now they're expected 6 days later to come out of those clouds, to come out of that celebration and take on a new Godzilla in Miami. Can they pull that off? Can they really get their head out of the clouds that quick?
They've got to play really good defense that day. They've got to. You cannot let Miami get up in point totals. Here's the two things have to happen. They got to play the best defense they've played all year. They are getting a little better on defense, but they still, George, have these lapses where it's all of a sudden it's a 50-yard gain. They give up a lot of big plays. So they've got to play their best defense of all year, and Chambliss has to play like he did against Georgia. If he don't play to that standard, all that high, and I'm telling you it's close to 100%, no, I don't think they can beat them. And the thing I'm worried about the most is the pass rush is so dominant with Miami, it'll get there so quick that it's hard to get out and scramble around sometimes because they're really good at also pressing the pocket, which Georgia could not do last night. They could not get to him from the inside. They could not press the pocket. So he had good lanes because the Ole Miss people were able to keep them away from him from the middle of the field. And I think that's going to be awful hard to do against Miami. I think Ole Miss would have to play their best football game of the year to win this game. And Miami, I don't think, has to do that unless they just don't turn it over.
Okay, here comes one of these where you're going to look at me, if you could, and say, why do you do this to me? You ready?
You've done it so much it don't faze me no more.
He already did it to me, Watson. I didn't know how to respond. Now it's your turn.
I have figured out exactly what Ryan Day is. Ryan Day is the football version of John Calipari. If he's got better talent than you, he's going to win. If he can physically punish you at the line of scrimmage, everything's going to be fine. But if the other side is close to as good or as good, if you're looking for him to make any difference strategically, have a lucky day.
I think you nailed it. I've seen a lot of guys, George. I've seen a lot of guys, George, through my time that you are at such good programs that you're better than, let's say, back in my time, it was 11 games. If you were better, you were going to be better than 9 of the teams you played, 8 at the absolute worst. You were going to be better. And so when you got to those, you just knocked everybody down and you won. And you didn't want to do anything else because it was the simple way to win games. Then all of a sudden you get against somebody good, and all of a sudden that point total goes way down. And I'm not sure that hadn't happened to him, that he just tries to beat you the one way, just to knock you down. And if you don't, he don't have the next answer for it. And I thought last year Chip Kelly made a huge difference after he got completely destroyed by Michigan, trying to run over him. Very conservative, if you remember, George.
Oh, yeah.
And then he went back. He was smart enough to go back. And I visited with Chip through the year, so I know him a little bit and studied a lot of his stuff. And I think he got back and said, we better come up with some different ways. And Tennessee, it started completely different plan, wide open, a lot of format, just a lot of stuff. And it worked and won them a national championship. I think they went right back again. They're beating everybody all year long. They beat Michigan that way. And all of a sudden they ran into one they couldn't do that to. And I'm not saying that's Ryan Day. I think a lot of these coaches that are these better schools where you've got better talent, it's easy to fall into that mode. I really think it is. I think it really hurt them when their play caller wasn't calling the plays. That's really hard to do now. I don't care what you say, with Charlie Weiss Jr. at Ole Miss still calling the plays and Ryan Day taking it over at Ohio State. I think that made a big difference in what happened in those 2 games.
Okay. Last thing from me, and then I'll turn it to Parker. If you and I had been sitting together, let's say at your house up in Cookeville, although there are people out there going, oh, good Lord, Watson Brown would never let him anywhere near that house.
Oh, that's true that you know that.
Oh, I know. If we'd been sitting there watching the game, did you know what the penalty was for a punter kicking the ball over the line of scrimmage?
Yes, I knew that route. Two things happened, though, that I've never seen. I've never seen it happen, but I knew the route because we bring in officials every year, and tried to get them to give us the little things that people wouldn't know. So that's one that I don't remember what school I was at, because I said, you're telling me that if he passes that ball over or kicks it over, yeah, that's the rule. So I did know that rule. The rule last night that I didn't know was there's 1 second to go in the game. And when when a guy, and they do the onside kick and he just falls straight on the ball, that don't eat up a second. How in the world can that be?
I don't know. I'd never heard that one either.
No, that one got me. I said, what? So I promise you, Pete Golden learned it, and he'll never do that again. He would have fallen on that ball instead of letting them fall on it, because if you watched, all of his players got out of the way and just let them fall on the ball. And he thought it was over. They got one chance to do something crazy. So, I mean, I learned something last night after 40-something years in this crazy business. I learned something last night, but I did know the kicking rule, yes.
Parker?
Watson, I know you've probably seen the stat out there that the last 8 teams in the college football playoff that have had the first round bye are 1-7. And Joey McGuire talked about it with his team at Texas Tech, that they were trying to get healthy during the time that they had in between the Big 12 championship game and their matchup with Oregon in the Orange Bowl. They didn't really practice tackling a whole lot because they were trying to get healthy. How much do you think that extended month they have off really hurts those teams that have that first round bye?
1 week does nothing to you. 1 month does a ton. And football is the hardest sport in the world not to keep practicing, because 11 people all have to do the same thing. It's the only sport with that many people that have to do the right thing together at the right time. And it's amazing, whether it's offense or defense, the ball seems to always find the screw up. And so, yes, I think it's a major disadvantage. It's 1-7. It probably would have been 0-8 if Indiana just wasn't so much better than Alabama. That was embarrassing how much better they were than Alabama in that game. They physically just absolutely waxed them. And so the physicality took over in that one. So I think what they got to do, in my opinion, Parker, I would go to 16 and I would let everybody play. That's what I do. I think it kills 2 birds. Put 4 more in and let 1 play 16 and 2 play 15, just like the NCAA tournament in basketball. That's what I'd do, and it would end all this. I wouldn't go past 16, but I would do that next year, where there's 16 teams instead of 12, and everybody plays the first week.
So what if they, because it seems like the SEC and the Big Ten, they're the ones controlling how the playoff format looks like. It seems like they haven't reached an agreement, at least publicly they haven't. What if we stayed at 12? And Dan Lanning talked about this, and I'm all in favor of it, because I've asked you before, if it were up to me, I'd have every round of the playoff at home up until the national championship. I'd have that be the Rose Bowl, and I'd have it played on New Year's. What if we moved the playoff up? It stays at 12 ideally in this world. What if we moved it up and started playing right after conference championships?
I would do that, and I would start 1 week earlier. I would start 1 week earlier if I wanted, and then I would make sure there's only 1 bye and not 2, because some teams get 2 if they play in that what they call the 0 week. But I would absolutely want to be through by the time of the transfer portal. If they're going to leave the transfer portal as January 2nd, they've got to move this up. They've got to. And the other thing to me, all bowls done by then, because all these bowls were awful because there's so many opt-outs. And it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous what's happened here. I would not let anybody even go into the portal. If they want to not play in the game, say that, but they can't go into the portal. You can't go in. You can't come out and do it and put your name out there till whatever that day is. I saw where Nick Saban says, don't back it up, but put the portal into May. That would be hard, because I think you're talking about scrambling late to put a team together and not have them in spring practice. I'm not sure the football would be as good. That's just me. I'm not sure the football would be as good when you don't have your team in the spring like most of these people do, and you get spring and all summer to put that together. But I'd go to 16. It doesn't add a week. That does not add a week, because right now there were 4 not playing anyway. So you're playing the same number of weeks if you go to 16. Everybody plays and move it up as far as I could possibly move it up. The reason the portal, Parker, is that January the 2nd is, in 2 weeks, I believe is what it is. You try to get them in school. If you back it up too much, they can't get those kids into the spring semester because it's too late to get them enrolled. That's the reason that they've got it up as close as they do now.
And I feel like if you were to move everything up, like we've been talking about, then you can keep the portal window the same. And although we're all not going to pretend like school means as much as it used to these guys, but if you move up the playoff, you can keep the portal window the same. It doesn't really affect anything.
True. I don't know that you can back the portal up another week because it'd be too late to get them in school.
Right.
There'd be an awful lot of schools they're coming in 2 weeks into a semester. We already have seen academics fall down a little bit because of this, whether everybody says it or not. They're not going to that school for academics. They're going to that school for money. That's what they're going for. And I can't blame them. They still get their academics and yet get paid a whole lot more to transfer. So I get it. I understand it. I don't think that'll ever change again. Maybe they'll put a cap some way on the money, but the thing they got to get under control is the transfer. I'm a big believer you can't let them transfer every year. There's some point where you've got to put a limit on how they go about this. I don't know if they will, but I think that's a bigger deal to me, Parker, than the money is transferring every year if you want to. And so we'll see where it goes. I don't think they can back it up anymore. If they're going to back it up, they might as well send it to May, where they get into school in the summer. They'll enroll into summer school and then play into the fall that way. But I would move it up the best I can, and I would dang sure go to 16 because I don't think it's fair. 25 days is in the old bowl season. Both sides were 25 days, and now that's not the case anymore. So I think it's a major advantage to have played a game the week before.
Quickly, I wanted to ask about the bowl season because, like you, I'm a romantic. I love watching all these bowl games, but it doesn't have that same luster, and I can't pretend that it has the same meaning as it used to. Watching the Duke's Mayo Bowl, it used to be so entertaining back in the day. And now you got Old Dominion's quarterback even opted out, so you got all these players that are opting out. It just doesn't have that same feel anymore, and I can't pretend that it does. I've seen several ideas that have been thrown around. Play the bowl games as an exhibition before the season starts, and that way the AP can use it as reference to rank these teams. What do you think the future of bowl season is going to be?
I think they're going to have to do away with some of them. First thing to me is these 5 and 7. So I watched one of my old schools, Rice, play today at 5 and 7. They're now 5 and 8. See, I'm against 6 and 6. And I had a team at 6 and 6 at UAB that didn't get to go because there wasn't enough back in the day. I had teams at UAB that were 7 and 5 that didn't get to know because there wasn't enough bowls. So, but you've got to cut out, to me, the 5 and 7s and 6 and 6s because a 6 and 6 goes to a bowl, Parker. One of them leaves with a losing record. And I don't like that. Cut out the number of bowls and the ones that let's keep them to where, like the Vanderbilt and Iowa game, that bowl meant something to both teams. And it was one of the more fun ones to watch. I was very proud of Tennessee and Illinois. Both of them had a ton of people out, but they played their hearts out. Both teams, it was an enjoyable game to watch. But I've also seen a bunch of them where it was a kill because one team had a whole bunch of people not there, and the other one had more that was. And so it was just it was a kill. So I would come up with a way, even if you can't get paid your last check, meaning let's say they're paid by the month most of the time. These players, I would say you can't get your last 2 checks unless you play in the bowl game. If you're willing to lose that money to not play in the bowl, okay. But I'd come up with a way that they don't get their last checks if they don't finish the season with your team. I think that's one way to look at it.
Watson, great stuff to start 2026. Don't tell anybody you agreed with my theory. They'll think you're crazy.
I know it's not good to agree with George, but at this time I kind of do. So I got to go with it.
Watson, I kind of danced around the question, but I'd say you're kind of convincing me.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, and it's not just Ryan. I think it's happened to a bunch of them. It never happened to me. I was never at those kind of places. But I'm telling you, I've watched it, and I've listened to coaches that have said, we're just so much better. To start trying to do something at the last minute against Nebraska at the end of the year when you're Oklahoma, it's too late to do those things. You're not good at them. So I get it. I understand it.
Watson, thank you as always.
It's always an honor, guys. Talk to you.
The honors on this end as well. Coach Watson Brown joining us. Okay. I'm assuming that some of you are on your way home right now from work. It's really weird. 1-day work week, and it's on a Friday.
It doesn't feel right.
No,
it doesn't feel right.
But here's what will feel right. Jump in on the phones as we look for red-blooded Americans who've got some things on their mind at a time of the year that is insane. 615-759-9949. Again, 615-759-9949. We'll go to the break, then we'll take your phone calls on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
A golf cart from Mikey's Motors is the perfect way to get around this summer. Whether you're going to the park, the pool, or the playground, do it in a brand new golf cart from Mikey's Motors, Franklin and Murfreesboro.
Summertime fun in Tennessee. That's what we sell at Mikey's Motors. Come see how we roll.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. You've heard me talk about the putting zone. Well, guess what? It's now open, and it offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you. Medical Nashville without leaving? Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
Here, your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, we are back. Let's see what we got here. Liberty Bowl, Navy, and Cincinnati are tied at 7 earlier today. Texas State blew out Rice 41-10. There are a couple of bowl games tonight, and then tomorrow you got all kinds of stuff, including the beginning of SEC basketball, which is always good stuff. All that non-conference fluff. All of a sudden, we get down to finding out who really is and who really isn't. Here we go to the phones. Down in Smyrna, Frank, welcome into the show.
Hello, George. I'm still down here in Florida recovering from the Rely Quest Bowl. So
that's right. You went to it.
Yeah, everyone back home, no need to worry. I'll be home eventually. Maybe when the weather warms up for good. But, no, guys, it was a great time. I begged the Vandy fan base to show up. Well, show up they did. I appreciate anybody that went down there. That is a 700-mile drive from Nashville down there. Airline tickets were not cheap from Nashville to Tampa. I was told what some people were paying for airline tickets wasn't cheap. And I would say out of an announced crowd of 35,000, I think Vanderbilt had at least 10 to 12. I'm not a great judge of attendance, but I can tell you the east side of Raymond James Stadium was full of Vanderbilt fans in the 1 and 200 level. And there was quite a few of us up in the upper level too. So
wow,
just very, very proud of the fan base for showing up. We were everywhere in Tampa at the beach day, at the parade and pep rally. Just for every Iowa fan I saw as many Vandy fans. I mean, we were there. We showed up. We represented. We just didn't win the game. Iowa is better than I think anybody thought, including me. They're legit. Offensively, they were really good, and I knew they were good on defense. And we need to teach our punter where the line of scrimmage is, apparently, because I've watched football for 40-plus years. I've never seen that, George. Never. My daughter and wife looked at me like, have you ever heard of such a thing? I went, no, I've never seen this before. I didn't even know the rule. So,
I didn't either.
You know, I don't think anybody did. The fans sitting beside me on either side and behind me, we were all like, anybody know this rule? So,
yeah, it's basically a turnover.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was a turnover, but they got the ball at the help me with this, maybe the line of scrimmage. Anyway, Iowa scored on the next play. And I'm just like, well, you know, I mean, it was just really neat. I also got to give a shout out to Clay at Nashville. Good seeing you outside the hotel the other morning, you know. And George, also, Tim, I met a guy at the hotel yesterday, knows you, Tim Turner. Met him yesterday. He's from Franklin.
Absolutely. Good former Vandy baseball player.
Yes. We got to chatting about that. Turned out he and I are both from Tullahoma originally. Grew up in the same neighborhood. I had never met him until yesterday, him and his family. But just a few just really fun tidbits. That's clearly the best bowl Vanderbilt's ever been to. Just really fun, a good time. Tampa is a fantastic city. Highly recommend hanging out there if, you know. Parker, you ever been to Tampa?
I have been to Tampa. I actually went on my senior trip of high school.
Okay, wow. Great. So you know, it's It's just a great city. Clearwater Beach is fantastic if you can deal with the traffic getting there. It's a little bit of a haul and a lot of stoplights.
I got a bunch of callers, so I got to run. Let's talk again next week sometime.
All right, let's do that. And the Titans, all I can say, just real quick, hallelujah. Miss Amy may be figuring something out about front office structure. Hallelujah.
Yeah,
if you see the story, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway.
Let me read this thing real quickly, and thank you for the call. She's apparently sent out an open letter to fans saying that GM Mike Borgonzi will now have final say over the 53-man roster, and he will spearhead the upcoming search. She says over the past few years, several job descriptions in our football organization were established to address specific situations and challenges that existed at the time. After working together for the past year, they believe, and I agree, there is a long-term benefit to clarifying and honing the focus area of our football leadership. I hope it means what it sounds like it means.
Sounds like it.
It's about time. Eric in Nashville, you're up next.
Hey, George, I guess I'll be getting that letter pretty soon as well. George, a couple of things. One quick thing on the NFL. Seattle and San Francisco, of course, tomorrow night on ESPN. That's going to be an interesting game because, of course, Sam Darnold has another shot at redemption. And depending on what happens, it would be wild if he won that game. They got all the way Super Bowl. How would Minnesota feel about that? But, of course, if he loses, San Francisco's got something to play for, too, which means home the rest of the way and including the Super Bowl. So that's going to be a real interesting game tomorrow night. George, I prominently called to talk about – oh, I'm sorry. Did you –
No, that's going to be a great football game, great environment.
Yeah. And I believe that's also Eli and Peyton. That's going to be they're supposed to be doing that broadcast as well. I'm wondering if they're going to do it in the playoffs. But anyway, George, the main reason I called, of course, the college football, just a couple of things about. Of course, we got out the Final Four, and you're definitely going to have a Big Ten team in the championship game for a third year in a row because Michigan, of course, won it a couple years ago, then Ohio State last year, and now you're either going to have Oregon or Indiana in the championship game. You got to give credit to Indiana. I was just surprised, not that they won, but the way they just put the beat down Alabama with the offensive line. Just you got the guy that Coach Signetti, great coach. A couple years ago, whoever heard of this guy, and now there could be people if he keeps this up coming down to knock down his door, trying to lure him away or poach him away from Indiana. But you got to give the guy props. I think they're the only team that won that had to buy it because now all the biases talk about 1-7. They of course talk about trying to make it better, but it seems like he's certainly focused. In the other game, you've got Ole Miss against Miami. Of course, now it's Carson Beck with a redemption story, and you had Miami who's out physical to Ohio State. Of course, an Ole Miss deal. I think that whole thing's hilarious. And I guess if Ole Miss does wind up winning it all, Lane Kiffin is going to be trying to take credit. He's still getting paid because he worked out a deal where he still gets money, even though he's no longer the coach. I think most people want to see an Indiana Ohio State final. And I mean, not Indiana Ole Miss final. I'm sorry, George. But the last thing on that, George, and then I'll get off, George, is I heard an interesting observation, George, and I just want to get your thoughts on this. They were saying that now that they believe that the SEC, probably with the NIL transfer portal, probably still has better talent as far as players, but the better coaches are now in the Big Ten because they think they've been able to handle the NIL and transfer portal probably better than the SEC. And just like I said with the coach Signetti, it seems like the coach now has gotten a lot better in the Big Ten, and you got to give them credit, done a lot better job at adapting to the NIL and transfer portal. And this whole landscape with everything that's changed, and just wanted to get your thoughts on that. I'll let you get some other callers. George, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Happy New Year, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Eric, thank you. I mean, listen, the evidence is out there, Parker, that the Big Ten right now at the top is better than the SEC at the top.
I can't even argue it. As someone who's grown up in the South, lived here my whole life, yeah, I mean, you take the top of the Big Ten, Ohio State's, Indiana's, Oregon's, compared to the top of the SEC, it's clear that the Big Ten is better. But from top to bottom, and that's usually when people like to get into this debate, the SEC people will bring up the top to bottom and the overall depth, because you could have a quarterback at Kentucky, a Will Levis, be a draft pick day 1 or 2. If you take your middle of the Big Tens, and let's think of like a Wisconsin, you're not drafting a Wisconsin quarterback on day 2. So that's kind of where I stand on that.
Jeff in Murfreesboro, you're up next.
Hey, George. First off, say Mills got a couple Conference USA games this weekend. They play tonight. I don't know what time they play. I want to say 6:30.
Yeah, La Tech.
Sunday they play at 1 o'clock and play Sam Houston. They've already had one game, maybe Kennesaw at home earlier in December. So hopefully they can go 3-0 in the league. Number one. And George, the Big Ten 3-I formations ran over in ATV. Iowa, Illinois, and Indiana took Alabama, Tennessee, and Vandy apart. I mean, took them apart and beat them. And beat Bama bad. They had Bama beaten was the worst ever in their bowl history. The worst ever. And I mean, that's why Mendoza is a Heisman Trophy winner right there. That's why he won the Heisman. Because there's that game right there, the Rose Bowl. It's the first time they've been in since '68. And they won it. And I'm hoping it's Miami and Miami, whoever, Indiana, I don't know where that's. I hope Miami wins. Because when I say Miami, you say you, Miami. You. The you, baby, you. It's all about the you. So they're back too, and enjoy the SEC basketball tomorrow. Kentucky has got Bama on the road, and and also a week ago when their New Year's last night by whipping LSU. Somebody Kim Mulkey, he's a pretty good coach. He's pretty good. We whipped her on a little 3-pointer at the end though, 80-78, because LSU didn't play nobody in non-conference like Vandy men did. You have a good day, George. Parker Brothers, you enjoy the weekend too, babe. See you.
I think we're both thinking the same thing.
It would have been easier if I'd understood about half of it.
Yeah, I didn't catch the end. I didn't really care to either.
We'll go to the break on that. What do we got? We got 3 lines open?
Yeah, we do have 3 lines open.
So let's do this. If you would like to jump in before we call it a Friday afternoon, by the way, I can still see outside. Let there be light.
Look at that. The sun isn't all the way down yet.
Not totally. Anyway, you can get in. If you want to get in quick, 615-759-9949. Again, 615-759-9949. Please jump in. There's a lot to yap about as we join you on the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Here's David Levy of Levy's Men's and Women's Wear in Green Hills.
Hey, George. As a 170-year-old clothier, we are loaded for the holiday season with great gift items for you or your significant other. Plus, we have front door parking, experienced associates to answer your questions, free gift wrap, and we are surprisingly affordable, even for you. This holiday season, treat yourself to a touch of luxury without any of the fuss. Levy's Green Hills, 3900 Hillsborough Pike, across from Virtus and behind Donut Den.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donley Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonleyTimmons.com.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Or call them at 615-292-3400.
It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Right now in Memphis, 5 minutes left in the first half. Navy and Cincinnati tied at 7.
It's pouring down rain there too.
Is it really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're watching it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
It's pouring.
Okay.
Rain.
So that's what we're getting late tonight. Is that right?
Right.
Now let's see. Let's see how quickly late tonight is.
7 o'clock.
Oh wow. There's
you got the Holiday Bowl too. SMU in Arizona.
Well, they're saying 100% chance of rain at 5 o'clock when we get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, Tony in Nolensville, you are up next, and thank you for waiting.
Hello, George. Hello, Parker. And
Happy
Happy
New
New
Year.
Year, guys. George, I was told over through the grapevine, Parker was down there flipping the switch for the ball for the 2026 music note to drop the other night. I don't know how true that was.
Yeah,
How'd you hear that, Tony? That was supposed to be secret.
It's true.
Were
Hey,
you
guys,
wearing your Oregon garb?
No.
Show everybody. This is ridiculous. Okay, we live.
I was wearing my bell-bottom jeans to match Lainey Wilson.
We live in the South. Why are you wearing Oregon
Can
gear?
I not represent? They got a great win.
Well, yeah, but I mean, so did Illinois. I don't see
There
you
was one
wearing.
reason I wore this in particular, and I was really hoping Kelly would be on today, even though it's Friday, because I really wanted to stick it to him.
Well, why? I mean, why not wear Illinois gear? They had a really good win.
Well, George, I can't do that.
Go ahead, Tony.
Oh, that's true. You know, he's been pushing them all year, and the way the Big Ten has manhandled the SEC in head-to-head matchups, and as well as they've done in the Capital One Bowl playoffs, they're going to win the Capital One Bowl championship. The Big Ten, they flex their muscle, and you know you got to hand it to them. And I'll say this also, guys, talking about the punter at Vanderbilt, George, you know I punted in all the way through high school, and I knew the rule. And immediately when he went past that line of scrimmage, I knew when he punted, it was illegal kicking the ball right up. I knew it, you know. More often times you'll see that when a ball is snapped over a punter's head or whatever, and a ball is going through the end zone, a lot of times you'll see them kick it instead of go out the end zone with it. But anytime it's like that, that's illegal kicking. And I knew the rule, and I knew it. I hollered it out as soon as I saw it. I can't say the word what I was saying.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think I've got a pretty good idea.
Right. To be truthful, I think he thought he had a lot of booster to run, and there was one defender who got past his personal protector, and I think that's why he realized he wasn't going to make the run, and he kicked it. George, you remember back many years ago in 1984 when Marion Angel ran a fake punt behind Alabama's defense down in Tuscaloosa, and went all the way for about 70 yards for a touchdown. And they were all looking for the kick, and he was running behind them with the ball. It was classic, but I just wanted to touch base on that. And guys, with the playoffs, with all this portal stuff and NIL that we've hated, the way it's come down to what it is and what we're seeing, it's really a lot of fun. It's refreshing. We've got 4 teams in there. 3 that's never won a natty, and Miami, well, the last one they won was 25 years ago. So it's refreshing to see that. It's the first time since any type of playoffs have started that we don't have a Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State, or an Alabama team in the Final Four. I mean, all this stuff it's just really, in somewhat, very refreshing. But, guys, I don't know if y'all saw this. Parker, I was hoping you put this in your update, but I'll help you out with a little update note.
It needs some help.
Come on, George. You know you love my updates.
It needs some help.
Kelly will be glad that I'm putting one on him that he missed. Kelly enjoyed, I know. But the ACC is going to give the whole $14 million allotment that would go to their conference from the college football playoffs. They're giving the whole $14 million to Miami University. What do you think that's going to do with making Florida State, North Carolina, Clemson, all them? You think they're not going to be upset? But
so wait a minute.
Has this.
Where did you see that? Because I haven't seen that.
They're sending the whole deal to Miami of Florida.
Was reporting it. Yahoo Sports was reporting it, and then Pat McAfee said it on his show today.
Wow.
They're going to give the whole allotment. You think that's not going to piss off a lot of people in that conference?
Something tells me Florida State did not vote for that.
I don't think Clemson and Florida State voted for it. And I don't think Belichick voted for it.
No, that's good stuff, Tony.
I wanted to touch base on that with you guys. And if you didn't see it, go back and try to find it. There was a good article in the paper in the Tennessean from a writer out of Knoxville. I got his name, but he put out his New Year's resolutions, what he thinks was going to happen throughout college football. It's very humorous and very, very funny. And I thought I might share it with you. But guys, good show as always. Happy New Year, and looking forward to talking to y'all next week. See ya.
Hey, Happy New Year to you, Tony. Let me get one last call in here. Jack is on line one. Jack, are you there?
How's it going, George? How's it going, Parker?
We're doing good. Hope you are. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys. I just got a couple questions. One of them would be, with the way that Indiana looked against Alabama, does any other remaining team have a chance at beating Indiana? And then two, with the report from Amy Adams Strunk today about Bergonzi, what kind of changes do you expect to see to the roster? Anything big? And then does Bergonzi's ties to the Chiefs make Matt Nagy a more appealing selection for the next Titans head coach?
Okay, hang with me on these. You ready? I don't know if you subscribe to The Athletic, but there is a story that was put out 2 or 3 days ago, a long story about Matt Nagy. And in the story, it turns out that Nagy was the guy who Borgonzi used to do kind of a simulated interview for Borgonzi getting ready to interview with the Titans. Nagy was the one who came up with the questions, fires them at Borgonzi and says, I like this answer, I don't like this answer. Anyway, bottom line is, to me, until you hear otherwise, I would take Matt Nagy over the field for the Titans job, because that's where I think it's going. Now, I could be wrong, but boy, there seems to be a real closeness between them. As for the roster, I don't really know what that means, other than I guess he doesn't have to run it up the Chad Brinker flagpole when he wants to make changes. And given that Chad Brinker's, handprint is on this entire disaster, why should he have to?
Yeah, so I'll say this. Everybody that's reported the Titans candidates that are, in numerical order, Diana Rossini was all out in front of this saying that Matt Nagy was the favorite. And I've seen a lot of other people say that as well. So I'm with you, George. I think that he is going to most likely be the next Titans head coach. I'm not saying I'm in favor of that because I'm not, but I think that he is going to be the next head coach. And also, I don't know what that means for the roster, but I am happy that Mike Borgonzi will be in charge of bringing in the personnel, bringing in the players, because he did well. He did well in the draft last year. So I'd like to see what he does with the second crack at it.
He's their best hope to get out of
He's
this.
He's a football guy. And if you've been around him, you've listened to him talk, he knows what – I believe he knows what he's talking about. I mean, he was in Kansas City for so long. So he knows what he's talking about. Now, that part of having to share responsibilities with Brinker, now that we have a clear, definitive kind of ladder of power and we know who's doing what, that should help all of this. That's the first step in the right direction.
Jack, anything else on your end?
No, that answers that. I was just going back to the Indiana, see if Oregon, Miami, or Ole Miss have a chance against Indiana.
To me, Miami has the best shot. To me, they're the scariest of this group. They physically, to me, kind of beat up Ohio State. And there's something to that. They basically looked Ohio State in the eye and said, we don't have to back down from you a bit. And they played like it. Now, whether that's good enough to take down Indiana, I don't know. My suspicion is we're going to see these two teams in the final. Let's see how it plays out. Thanks for the call.
Yes, sir. You guys have a great rest of your day.
Hey, you too. So, Parker, everybody's into New Year's resolutions, and I'm not necessarily going to make one here, but I am going to ask the question. How long are you willing to tolerate pain?
Not very long.
Okay, that ought to be a New Year's resolution, especially for an older audience that wakes up with more aches and pains than you 20-year-olds, right?
Right.
Well, the folks at the Dr. Gill Center, that's part of the reason they're advertising with us is because of my age, the audience skews a little bit older. They have what they call an initial consultation and report of findings. Now, what that really means is you go in there, and I'll give you the phone number in just a second, and you tell them exactly what you're experiencing. The thing I have learned is that they are really good listeners and that they really care about trying to solve the issues that may be bothering you. So with that in mind, go in there, because for $49, getting rid of the pain, wow, it doesn't get any better than that. Call them. This number, 615-882-4838. Again, 615-882-4838. And when you do, you tell them Plaz sent you.
Does that lead us into where I think it leads us?
Yes. Pain.
Only one bet this week. It was the Rams.
And it didn't go well.
It did not go well. But you have two opportunities.
Yeah, and, truthfully, we should start the new year with these. In other words, that year is over.
Starting fresh, clean slate?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Going back to 0-0.
It was a disgrace. It didn't go well. We're taking Tampa Bay tomorrow, -2.5 at home against Carolina. Now, Tampa Bay has sucked. The only reason I'm going with Tampa Bay is they're at home. I don't feel great about that one, but I am going with the Bucks. Here's the one I really like. Everybody's going Seattle. Screw that. The 49ers are the team on a roll right now. San Fran, plus 1.5 at home against the Seattle Seahawks. Remember this, there's always the chance that Mr. Darnold will implode.
He did it last year.
Yep.
He did it last year. Same time.
Okay, the rain's moving in. If you're out driving, be careful. Go Navy. This is the George Plaster Show. The George Plaster Show gets advertisers the results they're looking for. For example, here's Metro Nashville police officer